So, where do we start? Hearns Workshop?
Might as well, since we've got the Hearns Workshop here.
Absolutely.
Let's have a closer look.
Definitely.
So I guess whoever was watching last week, we did talk about the mini trays.
Yes.
And I don't think we had any mini trays at the time of the show. So we've got them here. I think we only had the full-size ones last time. So how about we'll swap over to the overhead camera.
Yes.
And you'll be able to see a lot more detail of what these mini trays are. So maybe we'll do the zoom as well.
Yep, zooming in.
Yep.
There we go. Okay, so let's bring them all in the middle here.
Yep.
So we are now producing, doing 2 shifts a day and producing 24/7. So in the next few weeks, we should have virtually everything available in stock, ready to ship as well.
Yes, that's right.
We also updated the website, so it's actually clear that what's actually in stock and what will be produced on demand and dispatched within. Normally, it's often the next day, but let's give us a couple of days. So also this stuff is anyway ready to go, as you see.
Yep.
So what do we have here, BJ?
Okay, so we've got quite a number of different hydraulic type connectors and also rivet heads. We've got controls, dials, buttons, and basically so the mini tray here, as you can see, probably get a little bit of an idea with my hand here. These are basically, are they half the size?
Not quite, a bit more than half.
A bit more than half the size?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the past, we've had our full trays, which would be, I guess, like this in size. And now we've opted to make some mini-sized ones too. So it gives you the opportunity to select a few different types, have them all in your toolbox ready for a scratch build, or if you're updating, say, the cockpit of an aircraft. So over here, we've got some rivets. Okay, so there's 3 different sizes within here. Over here, we've got these are the dials. Okay, so these can be used for the inside of cockpit.
Yep.
And then we've got the hydraulic connectors with some cable glands. Okay, so the cable glands are basically the connector which the hose is attached to and locks onto the surface. So great for machinery. This is the larger sizes of the dials and knobs. Slightly smaller size.
So from memory, we have 48 scale, and which will be probably this one, and some 24 scale going by memory.
Okay, so this is probably 24 scale.
Let me see.
That looks like 48. Oh yeah, they're probably marked, yeah?
No, not yet. So these are just fresh, new design at Warwick did. So they're not marked yet, but they will be marked very soon. Right. So there will be 24, 32nd, 48 scale, and some super tiny ones here. Not sure exactly what they are yet.
So these are more rivets. You can see how tiny they can get to. So that's probably under 1 mil on this side where my finger is. And then on this side, there's chunky ones that are probably closer to 2 mil.
So we, from memory, it's 0.8 millimeter, 1 millimeter, and 1.2 millimeters. Right. I think, going by memory.
Okay, because these ones here are pretty chunky.
These are really chunky. Maybe this is actually a mini tray is different again. So it could be.
So there's a lot of variety there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a heap you can do. So rather than just having one particular size across the whole tray, you've got a real choice to move towards getting a really good detail on the one project.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the idea, obviously, with these smaller trays to actually have them mixed up. So we initially started with 7 different ones. Yeah. And progressively, we had a couple more, I think 8 or 9 of the standard size, and then we start mixing them up. So you have opportunity to either test the different products, or even if you have a smaller project where you don't need 144 rivets, and you may want a couple of rivets, a couple of bolts, and a few things, then you have that opportunity there too.
So it definitely makes a difference. I mean, it's hard to see right now because they're all one color. That's all focused up now. So these are actually the nut bolts.
Yes.
And they make such a massive difference once they're painted up.
Yes.
And again, you can see all the different sizes. So I think we're constantly working on some projects. The only thing is we haven't finished our projects yet because we've made them more complicated than they probably needed to be. So eventually we will have quite a few works where you'll be able to see all these being used within them. I've also got these skulls, which are really interesting. So the skulls are not a new thing, but I think so you can see the skulls there. There's a whole tray of skulls. So there we go.
From memory, I did 48 and 35th scale, going by memory, yep.
So these ones here would be 35th scale, as you can see. And then these ones are 48. So 48 basically works out to be the same scale as minis that are used for war games. So, and quite often the guys like to have a whole heap of skulls that are just put aside. Because these are a bit hard to see, I'm going to put some black wash on it and see if I can bring out some details for you right now. So
okay, so
that there.
Experimenting time.
All right, so here's a bit of wash that I just mixed up before. So I've got an acrylic wash here. Do it over a couple of them because they're so tiny. It'd be a bit hard to see.
Should I come any closer? Let's see if we can.
Sort of flooded one of those here to make it easier to see. It's focused hopefully. So I just use a bit of black wash just to try to bring it out because you can actually see the fine teeth, and it accentuates the eye sockets as well. And then over here we've got the 48 scale ones. But yeah, probably doesn't help that it's all wet as well. But it should give you a better idea of what sort of details in there. I think eventually we'll have these on a project as well. We'll paint them all up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a larger one, which is quite nice to see all the actual details because you can see all the kind of cracks of the skull and all that.
Oh, that's right. There's all those lines, aren't there?
All the lines, yeah. And you can see them on the smaller ones too. I guess it's a bit harder to see them. They are specifically on camera, but if you do ever end up sourcing the finished product, it'll be really, really nice.
Yeah. And the trays are quite good too because there's so many there. And quite often, you know, if you only got 3 in a packet, they don't go very far.
That's right.
But there's a whole heap you can use across different projects, a whole heap of different figures on their bases, or different dioramas.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's cool. So they're the
skulls.
Yep.
So again, if you have any suggestion on other products or even mixing, like if you think these are too many in a tray for whatever reason, just let us know and we can rejig our offering and do maybe even 3 different sizes perhaps, or more of the same size, depends really. So just let us know.
That's the advantage of it, isn't it? So we can quite easily modify them to
definitely
to suit.
Definitely. So